All right, welcome to the event this week. We're going to talk about the 505-1 program. I'm going to give you an update real quick on what's going on with the markets. Instead of me doing this, I'm going to share a video with you, and that way it'll allow you to kind of get a little bit of insight right off the bat, so you can kind of get a chance to see what's going on with the market. And I'll make some comments right after, because this is about 8 minutes. We're only do a 15-minute session here, so I'll bring you this concept real quickly every single week. So you understand what is the element and the number of clients, what am I being able to do for them right now that makes a unique difference, and how do we use the HELOC? Why do we use it still? Why is it a trailing factor as far as the rates, and what can we do that no one else can do? But most importantly, why should we do this? So I'm gonna tell you what's going on with the markets right now. I'm gonna let you see this from a perspective, a really great video that's popped up on YouTube. I follow this channel. I think it's MHFIN, and here we go.
It's now been over 10 months since CNBC published this video.
Let's see, what happened with our volume? Let's see, let's go back here and check. In a second, we have a volume problem here. All right, here we go. Try this one more time.
It's now been over 10 months since CNBC published this video suggesting that the housing boom was over and long-needed relief was finally arriving in the markets. This upload, and many like it, turned out to be dead wrong. Home prices continued to surge in the following months, and today the median price stands at a record $400,000 after 2 years of parabolic growth. For average Americans, the dream of purchasing a home has become a nightmare. If prices continue to soar at this pace, by May of next year, the median home price in America will cost $480,000. The question on everyone's mind: how far can this really go? Will it soon be normal to see 7-figure listings in places like Michigan? In today's video, we answer exactly this by analyzing statements and data from the country's top real estate experts, starting with Redfin CEO Glenn Kelman. Kelman is a regular guest on television, and for the past 2 years it's been nothing but smiles and profits. But following an unprecedented 90% fall in Redfin's stock price and some new data suggesting a horrifying future for real estate, Glenn for the first time looks visibly nervous talking about the markets. When asked about the near-term future of real estate, he had this to say.
And you're smiling even though it looks like the housing market is slowing. Tell me, Glenn, in 6 months, is the market going to be better or worse?
Probably the same. Rates
Why?
are probably going to 6%. Inventory is increasing. Sales volume will be somewhat fine, but prices are going to soften.
So prices will soften, so therefore you're going to make it more affordable, basically. So you're going to make up on the hike in mortgage rates. How about the dynamic, though, of people who have to sell their homes in order to buy another home? Why, if I have 3.5% or 3.25% now, the thought of paying 6% for a bigger house is really tough.
That's where the market is really going to be pinched. So many people are locked into the home they're living in now by a 30-year, 3.5% mortgage. So they're going to stay in that property forever. Maybe they will rent it out, but if they actually want to move up, they are going to have a hard time affording the next place. If you combine interest rates with what's happened to home prices over the past year, the mortgage payment for a median price home in the United States is up 43%. So buyers are saying I've had enough, and sellers are starting to freak out a little bit.
To hear this from Glenn is very shocking, considering his job is to essentially avoid any kind of bad news in the markets. To state that sellers were, quote, freaking out goes to show just how bad the incoming data is. While prices remain elevated, price drops in certain markets are headed higher, and inventory is jumping up as we're finally seeing the effects of interest rates. To help you visualize just how bad it is out there, here's a quick example from Middle America. In the suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio, you'll find this home in Lakewood. It's listed for $440,000, and using the mortgage calculator, we can see that if you're going to purchase this home with 10% down, your monthly payments today would amount to $3,250. Now, this same home sold in 2018 for $310,000 when interest rates were much lower, which means just 4 years ago, using 10% down, a buyer would pay around $1,900 a month. That's nearly 70% less and showcases just how crazy the market has gotten in recent times. And remember, this is Cleveland, Ohio we're talking about, not a hotspot like Austin, Tampa, or Phoenix. The worst hit areas, according to Redfin's latest data, is something called the secondary markets. These are cities where you saw a large influx of people coming in from the primary cities. For example, Sacramento, California, which has seen price refugees from the Bay Area move up in.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll actually put this video in the description below so you can watch the whole thing. We got about, I don't know, three and a half minutes into the 8-minute video. What did the CEO of Redfin tell you is that the market is finally hit its apex. And here's the problem that we're getting caught into now. If you got a 30-year mortgage a year or two ago, whether you did a refi on your existing home because the rates finally came down to the lowest they've been in decades, or you bought a new home, but you got a 30-year and it's 3.5%. Now, if you want to move to a quote, bigger house or move period, and the rates are now reaching 6%. So just in the first 6 months of 2022, we've seen interest rates double. You can't do it. That's the problem, is all of a sudden this big frenzy about people getting out of their homes after they've either refinanced it or bought one within the last 2 years during the pandemic, where interest rates have come way down. You're now going to be stuck there, meaning that not a bad thing. Hope you liked your property, because you're not going to be able to get out of it and sell it and go to buy an equivalent value of home. You're going to pay double the rate. He showed a 4-year example here, and I think that was, I forgot, wherever it was. Anyway, the point was, it was a 70% increase in only 4 years in the monthly payment. Now, unless your income has jumped by 70%, you're going to have, number one, an affordability issue, and that affordability issue is going to begin with a qualification process. All of this perfect storm is now going to start coming home. I've been screaming about this, waving my hands, flailing around for the last year, saying this is coming, that too much money being printed and dumped through the stimulus to keep everybody cool during the pandemic is going to cause inflation. That's too many dollars falling too few commodities. That's the simple definition of inflation. So what are we going to do? Why is this important to understand? You're Steve. Yeah, I get all that, okay? You understand your marketplace, you understand the mechanics. Why does this matter? Well, as I've been working with a few clients here on the HELOCs, what's happening is the HELOC is a banking instrument where mortgages are an instrument of a mortgage lender. They are not the same institution. Everybody thinks that mortgage lending institutions are banks. They are not. They focus specifically on lending on long-term mortgages. They package things together. They sell them off in the form of a thing called a bond, and they sell them to investors or sell them to REITs or whatever. That is a different animal entirely. So Rocket Mortgage, let's say, for instance, is a mortgage lending institution. It is not a Chase Bank or a JP Morgan or any of those kinds of Bank America, okay? Those banks actually offer different products called a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. So the value of your home equity line of credit is what? It's the home equity, or your value of your home has been escalating, like you saw in the very front of this video, at an incredible rate of increase. Parabolic, exponential is the terms that they're using in these videos. And because that's exactly what they're doing. You're seeing the rate of the value of your home. It's called a notional value, because guess what? Just because the home value has gone up, if you are not benefiting from it, who cares? It's idle equity. So the value of what you can do right now is something that's going to end somewhere in the next year. And that is, the value of your home has increased so much that your mortgage staying fixed, whether you refinanced it or you're in 5 years or 10 years or 15 years into a 30-year mortgage, that is flat and fixed. The value of your home has continued to go up. So the margin between your current mortgage, the debt against your property, and the value of your property, the difference between is called your equity. And your equity has accelerated like never before. If you don't access your equity, it's going to go up and peak and then turn and then come back down. And you're going to miss a window of opportunity where you could have accessed the equity in your home to do what? To, number one, get you cash flow. How do we get cash flow? By getting a home equity line of credit through the best lending institution, because I've analyzed all of the different products out there, and there's only one that has the combination of features that I recommend through a banker that I do a personal recommendation to. That's my first and primary goal. You need a 660 FICO to get in there. And guess what? Just in the last month, I was able to get you 80% at 3.75%, 80% of your home appraisal value. at 3.75%. And what could you do with that 3.75%? You could turn back around and go out and do what? Pay off all those high interest double-digit credit cards, auto loans, installment loans, you name it. Anything that was higher than 3.75 would have been a good use of those dollars, because you would have saved the interest that those other high interest banks and lending institutions are charging you. What would that done to your monthly cash flow? It would have given you more freed up cash flow. So you, during this inflation, when we're seeing 8.5% jump in increase, it's costing you more to live right now. It's costing you more gas. I mean, we're just now crossing $6 a gallon here in Oregon, $6 a gallon. It was $5 a gallon just 2 weeks ago. So is it going to go to 10? Is it going to go to 15? I don't know. But what are you going to do when you need that ability to get rid of that debt and you miss this window right now to pay off that debt? It's going to be too late. And in fact, working with a client just yesterday, we were dealing with the fact that 6 months ago, I could have gotten him 80% at 3.75. Guess what? Now I can only get him 70%, and I can get him at 4.25 or 4.5. So still, I can get him a HELOC at a better interest rate than a 30-year fixed. That ain't going to happen. That's an anomaly. It's called mispricing in the marketplace. So I can pay off all of your debt, let's say, in a better way now, but I can't do it as good as I could have done it 6 months ago. I could have got you a lower interest rate and got you more money off of your equity 6 months ago. But spilt milk, can't cry about it. It's about what are we at right now? We got to access this value that's in your home. You can do it in such a way that allows you to gain immediate cash flow. Then what do? We use paycheck parking. It's another strategy. It's in my book. You use that to pay off the HELOC. And once you get the HELOC paid off, then what do you do with that line of credit? Well, then you can take that line of credit and you can either use it to accelerate and pay down your actual mortgage and be able to do that so that you get out of debt sooner rather than later. And in my book, the very first section talks about, is it a good idea? Is this strategy of paying off debt better than you trying to go out and make a rate of return on your extra dollars that you're trying to invest? And the answer is unequivocally yes, because paying off debt is a riskless rate of return. And if you don't believe me, I'm not the expert. I'm simply someone that knows how to find the experts. Go check out in my book, section 1, Mark Cuban's comments, Dave Ramsey's comments in his video, and Dr. Kotlikoff's explanation as he is the economics professor at Boston University. He sits on the White House Finance Committee, World Bank, International Monetary Fund. He's written up at Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, the New York Times, everything. The expert on understanding finance. He's the best that we have in the world. He'll explain to you why a riskless rate of return is better than trying to reach a at-risk rate of return. So let's say you're paying off your mortgage and your mortgage is 3.5%. You're like, Steve, I'm only getting 3.5% on my money, but it is a riskless 3.5% return on my money by paying off debt sooner. Can you go make 10% in the market? Maybe, and that's the point. The riskless rate of return is guaranteed. The at-risk return is not guaranteed. You put not only your capital at risk to make 10%, but you're putting the risk that you not only will you not reach 10%, because the markets are crazy right now, but you're actually going to lose your investment deposit to begin with. That is the horrible part. When you go with a guaranteed rate of return, you're paying off debt, and therefore you're not losing any of your basis. You're paying off the cost of the debt, and that gives you a rate of return. Go check out Dr. Kotlikoff's comment. So that's all I have for this week. Real short, sweet, to the point. I'll put the video link down below so you can check it out. Have a great week. We'll see you next Saturday.